Hey guys, what's going on? It's Eli with Little Blue, of course, and continuing on with the Mandalorian marathon, of course. And now we are up to chapter 7, and that is chapter 7, The Reckoning.
The Reckoning.
That's right. And this is like this is kind of like a part 1 or something, kind of.
Yeah, it's a two-parter.
Yeah.
Chapter 7 and chapter 8 are both combined bookends.
Right.
Chapter 7 is the opening. Chapter 8 is the conclusion, and the conclusion of the season.
Right.
Season 1.
So, what about The Reckoning?
Reckoning is a very good episode.
Yeah.
The Reckoning sets up the plot that Mando is contacted by Grief Kargas, who's over the the guild, the bounty hunters guild,
right?
And tells him that basically, since he's left, since he escaped with the child, that Moff Gideon, well, in this case, the Empire, that they have basically taken over the city.
What's left of the Empire?
Yeah, has taken over the city, and things are
not looking too good.
No.
Ugly sight.
Ugly sight. So it's basically mob rule, and so he wants Mando to come, and he'll restore his credit to the guild if he will help kill the leader of that group, and so who is played by
who? Wait.
The leader of the one that he hires, that he wants Mando to kill.
Yes, Carl Weathers, right?
Carl Weathers is Grief Kargas.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
But the character that he wants him to kill, the one that,
yes, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, bounty hunting is a complicated.
I know who you're talking about, right? But I can't remember his name now.
Yeah, I know his name, and it flew out of my head as soon as I was getting ready to say it. That's why
we did say his name in one of our reviews. So
yeah, he was
chapter 3. So
he was he's actually one of the actors that really enjoyed that role, playing that role and interacting with the child.
Exactly.
But anyway, so he hires Mando to wants him to come and kill him and to restore balance to their city, and then he will restore his good name to the guild, and he'll be back in good standing, and he can keep the child. Well, of course, then Mando goes back and gets Cara Dune,
and then goes get Queel.
Gets Queel, the Ognot,
and IG-11,
and IG-11 comes along, and three Blurg. And so they go and they meet Grief Kargas and
need I forget to mention
three of his henchmen.
There are a few things we're forgetting to point out, because Queel gives the story of him reprogramming IG-11.
IG-11 was killed by Mando when IG-11 was going to kill the child.
Right.
And he ends up. Queel finds his remains and reprograms him and retrains him, and there's kind of a deal there throughout the episode where Mando's not sold on the idea and thinks that he's still
it's like he can't get the point that he's been reprogrammed and such.
Yeah, he just thinks it's not possible. He just doesn't trust.
But it is possible.
As Cara Dune says in that episode, she says, "You really got a thing for droids," and he says, "I've got a thing for that droid." And that was a funny line, but it's true. There's something in his past that he just does not like droids.
Right.
But he soon begins to realize that IG-11 really has been reprogrammed, and you see that kind of unfold over episodes 7 and 8. Not to give anything away.
Yeah.
And
until we review episode 8.
Exactly. So anyway, what ends up happening?
And also in that moment, as the child chokes Cara Dune, that part.
Yeah, that part when they're arm wrestling,
right? As they're on their way, so
on the Razor Crest, and they're arm wrestling, just killing time, and the child sees the struggle, and he uses the Force.
He's mistaken,
he thinks she's an adversary and his enemy, and he starts to choke her out, and she's gasping for air, and Mando's like, no, 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 she's a friend, she's a friend.
I just like that part where like he looks at the child, and he just like, no, 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 just
he realizes that the child's doing it.
Right.
But as it get, as the scene, as the story unfolds, really what's happening, and I was pretty much suspicious of this all along, that Grief Kargas, his goal, that the original plan was to kill Mando and take the child. And
right.
What ends up happening is they get ambushed by these creatures, these flying creatures, almost like pterodactyls.
Yeah.
But
I almost forgot about those. Yeah.
They're venomous, and one of them gets Grief Kargas in the arm, and he's dying.
Yeah.
And the child uses some of his force.
Yeah, in that moment with Grief Kargas, like, he's trying to eat me. Just,
he's with Grief Kargas, he touches him and completely heals him.
Right.
And that's when things start to change. And then you see Grief Kargas, he ends up killing the guys that he brought with him,
right,
to kill Mando.
Grief Kargas has a change of heart, so
he has a change of heart because of what happens, and he begins to realize that, hey, Mando's right. He took this child for a reason. They, whatever the Empire has planned for it is not going to be good.
Right.
And Mando knew that, so they set out to kill, to the original plan that he had
exactly
told Mando what the plan was, but really was just was a front to get a lure to get Mando to come there. So long story short, they get in. They end up killing the leader of the
yes,
what you would call the leftover empire that's ruling that city.
Yep.
And they get trapped. They get pinned down by by stormtroopers and death troopers.
Yeah, and the stormtroopers, it's the 501st.
Yeah.
Which is really cool because, like, Dave Filoni and John, especially Dave Filoni, they called them in and such.
Exactly.
It must have been really exciting for them, and
I'm sure it was.
Oh yeah, and because it's cool, like, Star Wars fans in the show, and like, well, they clearly know how to act as a stormtrooper, so
sure.
And also because even in the documentary series, the Mandalorian,
mm-hmm.
which is really cool, and the Death Troopers, that was cool too. And when Moff Gideon comes in his TIE fighter,
mm-hmm.
and the cool thing is because the wings, they fold,
mm-hmm.
So that's kind of cool that they do that.
It was really cool to see how the wings folded on that TIE fighter.
Yeah.
It was like, so that's how they land. They don't have really, you think, okay, would they have really long landing struts that would deploy that would look like legs hanging down because the way the wings are made?
Yeah, but the exception, like, say, with one exception, with the wings staying as they were, like, you remember in The Force Awakens, mm-hmm. they're attached to, like, a cable or something, and the wings can still stay in that position,
Sure. Yeah.
So that's one exception right there, A different, like, landing place or whatever for TIE fighters.
Exactly. So, then we meet Moff Gideon.
Yeah.
And we see that, he basically says, you have something I want.
Yeah.
You don't know what you have, but I do. And he's determined to get it.
I keep forgetting because this is where we first meet Moff Gideon, so.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, right.
And you can tell he is a force to be reckoned with.
Yep.
So they're pinned down. Mando tells Queel to take the child back to the ship and lock it down. And he,
the scout troopers, they go after him.
They intercept the transmission, and they go after Queel.
Yes.
They kill Queel.
Yeah.
And they take the child.
That was hard to believe because Queel got killed.
I didn't believe it. I thought he was playing dead. I literally thought that he was playing dead, and that the child, that it was an empty bag that he picked up. That trooper picked up.
Right.
But it wasn't.
Nope.
You go back and you see it. You can clearly see that they got the child.
Does he give you that? Didn't give us a feel that maybe this could be a trick or something, and with Queel not being killed?
It made me think that because Queel was quite clever.
Yeah.
But
that wasn't until in episode 8. Nope, that wasn't the case.
No, and he didn't make it. So it was unfortunate.
Yeah.
Because I really like that character.
Yeah.
But, you know, he, you know, they, as all characters do in stories, they end, and that was his end.
Yep. So,
but it, you know, it was a good episode. It really set the tone for episode 8. As with all these episodes, when you see it, you know, you're like, oh my God, I can't wait to see the next one, you know. And that's the whole idea.
Yeah. I like how in the end credits, because throughout most of the first season, you know, it played the Mandalorian theme, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But in this one, episode 7, the music's different.
Yeah, it is different.
And hence, because I think it's obvious, because hey, this is technically a part. This is part 1, so at least the music to that could be a little bit different. So
exactly.
So, but that was kind of cool. Music being different and such.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah, it was.
So good episode. Good lead into the final episode of season 1.
Right.
Very good.
Which, that's what we'll be getting to next. So anyway, so again, chapter 7, the Reckoning. It was good, huh?
Very good.
Yep. Good stuff going on to it, and yeah, just a lot of great stuff in it, and for it being part 1, so
right.
Yep. So with that being said, guys, we hope you enjoyed our review of chapter 7, The Reckoning. More new reviews coming your way. They're gonna be awesome. Keep looking forward, and continuing on with the Mandalorian marathon. 1 more episode to go.
1 episode.
Yep. So, and that is, of course, episode 8. So, which that's coming next. So. Oh, I think the Alexa went off or something. What did I say?
I don't know.
Okay, that's the first time this has kind of happened in our review. So
yeah,
in a review, I'm sure you guys heard that. I don't know, but with that being said, we hope you enjoyed our review of Chapter 7, The Reckoning. Any last words?
I must be off.
Right. Well, Blue says I must be off for me. We'll see you guys in the next video / review video. Take care. Peace out, and we have spoken.